Hello everyone, so today we're gonna continue the tutorial about the short URL. So today we have 5 steps we need to do. The first one is gonna be to set up some validation in the server. The second one is to make the short version of the URL passed by the client. Secondly, we're gonna create a crypto algorithm for make the short version. After that, we need, I'm gonna show you a method come in Mongoose who is called pre. And after that, we're gonna work a bit on the controller. So right now, when I left you yesterday, so I'm gonna just start the server. When I left you yesterday, we can create, uh, we can create, uh, we can pass a website. So example, I'm gonna pass Facebook1.com and we get the answer and we can see this one inside the database. But right now, if I put nothing, I'm gonna get error. But this error is coming from the model. It's coming right here. And this is not a good pattern because you see here I have my require. So my controller don't do nothing. So my controller left this free and make the model handle that. And this is really not good to do. So first thing we're gonna work with that. So remember, long URL is a property inside the body, and this is what the client gave us. So we're gonna create a if statement here. We'll say if we don't have any long URL, we're gonna return res.status 400 and with a JSON object with a message, you must provide a URL. So now we're gonna save, wait a bit, and now if I send this, we receive you must provide a URL. So if I have nothing, this is the answer I'm gonna get. If I type some random URL, I can continue to create, but if I have nothing, we got you must provide a URL. So for this one is good, but right now, what happens if I type this, who is really not a URL, and I send? Oh, that's safe, and this is really not good. This is not what we want. We want to put some layer before the model happen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna install a library called validator. So this is a useful library with a lot of helper for validation of, like, see if something is an email, something is a valid the URL, etc. So here I'm gonna restart my server. We're gonna import the library, but here I'm gonna import is URL. See, the here URL is all capitalized. So like you can see, I always import library on top of my what I import finally inside my project. So I know everything at the top is gonna be the library. So here now I can use this URL. So here, what I'm gonna do, it's I'm gonna make a else if. So remember here, if something pass this if statement, that means we have something. So now we can work with that. So I'm gonna say is URL. So if this long URL is not a URL, I'm gonna return almost the same message, but you must provide a valid URL. So time to test, and then wait a bit. I'm gonna send that. You must provide a valid URL. So now we have, if we have nothing, you must provide a URL. If we have something who is not a URL, we validate that. And now if I send google.com, I can create. So these two stuff are good to go. After that, now think about this. Inside the application, when you create a shortening, if someone pass pass a URL who is already short inside your app, what you want is to send him the same one. You don't want to make use of this URL again. So here what we're gonna do is just return the one we have inside the app and don't create again. I'm gonna just remove everything we did there. We're gonna use the URL coming from the model. We're gonna use the method called find1. Inside MongoDB you have a lot of methods, and one of them is find by ID, who find only by ID, and find1, it's something who is return only one document with some condition, and the condition we're gonna pass it's the long URL. Remember, in ES6 we don't need to pass the same key value. If we can just pass one. So if the long URL equal the long URL, we don't need. So I really like this one. So we get back at premises. Premises have two callbacks. One gonna have the URL if we have one, and the second one gonna have the error. Here I'm gonna work right now with the error. It's gonna be easy. Res that status, and here I'm gonna say 500, 400, and JSON gonna be error. That's it. So here inside this callback, I'm gonna open the bracket like that. So here inside this one, we're gonna say if we don't have an URL, so that means it's not already saved, it's time to create one. So we're gonna do const new URL, the same way what we did in the last episode. Then we pass the long URL right there. After that, I'm gonna return the URL that's saved. So the method for saving this one. Gonna have add premises. This one gonna have again two callbacks. One gonna be the URL. When I do something like that, I always keep like the first letter just for myself, so I don't keep up with this URL. I just remember this one. So here is the status. So we create this one, so we're gonna go with a 201 with a JSON with the URL gonna be u. So the one we create. If we have an error right there, res that status here, that's gonna be a 500, so error server, so we cannot save, and the JSON object gonna return the error. So here, what we did here, it's if we find a URL with the long URL coming from the client, we're gonna create a new one, we're gonna save this one, and we're gonna push that to the front end. After that, if we find a URL already created, we just need to return this one with a status of 200, and the JSON object with the URL coming right there. That's it. So now we're gonna test this one. So here you see I have ID, this ID right there. So if I send again, now you're gonna see the ID is at the top because this is an object already is already in the database. You see I get a status of 200, but if I create something, I'm gonna get 201 for create. So you can see just there with the status, if I create something, I get this right there. If I've just given back the one we have, I send the 200 right there. So now for the validation for the controller, we're gonna stop with that for now. Now it's time to work with the fun part. We're gonna jump on the model. Now inside the model, we just have one property called long URL. Right now, we're gonna create another one called short URL. We're gonna save the short version. Gonna be a type of string. Gonna be unique true. And after that, we're gonna pass a validation coming from MongoDB called max length. So we check the maximum length of something inside this property. So the max length of that we want 6, and the second argument here it's the error. So error with the length, that's going to be the error right now. So now we have the short URL, but right now we don't touch this one. We don't want to touch this one. We want the server to create an algorithm, create a random string who's gonna be the what we give to the client, and this one it's the main logic of the service. So what we're gonna do is we create a function. So the first thing, we're gonna import crypto. Crypto is a library right inside Node.js. No need to import this one, to install this one. So here we're gonna create a function. Just type some comment so function for make short version. So we're gonna call this function make unique URL. We're gonna take a length, so just len. Here in ES6, if you have an arrow function and this is in the same line, you don't need to return. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enter tab a, so that's gonna be like just follow the same line. JavaScript is smart enough to see this one. So I'm gonna take crypto. Crypto have a method called random byte who give something random. Here I'm gonna just put some algorithm. So matcell will return the smallest number greater than or equal to the integer. Here I'm gonna pass the length, the length. Oh, sorry, length, and I'm gonna make a 3, 4 like that right there. So this is a random algorithm for make a random string. Finally, here I'm gonna put that to string with a base 64. Base 64 main. We want every number 0 to 9, and we want any character, so A to Z, in lowercase and uppercase. After that, we're gonna put a slice of 0 with the length. After that, we're gonna replace every plus, so every plus globally with a 0, and we're gonna replace every dash, this character right there, slash, like that, with a 0. I missed something like this, and this is finally the function we just need. But now we never hit this function at all. So this is the time we're gonna see a new method inside Mongoose. Pre-save. What is pre-save? Pre-save, it's a hook, a pre-hook for the document. So this is something happen before you do something in MongoDB. So pre-save mean before we save something. So it's a good thing, a good place to, example, you create a user authentication and you want to hash a password. So this is the place where you do this logic. After that, you have pre-remove, where it's, example, you create a Medium clone website where someone can create a lot of blog posts, and if he delete his own account, you want to delete each blog post he have. So in the pre-remove, you're gonna loop over each of his posts and you can remove everything. So this kind of hook is really helpful, this kind of method. So here inside the pre-save, I'm gonna have a callback method, and here this is a place where you need the function and not the arrow function, because the arrow gonna lose the context of this. So here I'm gonna pass next and done, because this is a middleware. Now you're gonna see, yes, let's say I want you to have a arrow callback. So here I'm gonna just put ESLint disable line, so that's gonna disable this line only. So here I'm gonna call next, and I'm gonna console log this. You're gonna see what I mean. So now, if I create something and I do enter, this is the object we just create right now. So it's the MongoDB object. That's it, MongoDB. So it's all that right there before it's saved. So what that led us to do is to make the short URL right there. So we're gonna call this that short URL gonna equal to make unique URL with a 6. Remember, in JavaScript, a function, it's a value. So we're gonna call this function, we're gonna make a random string. with the length of 6, and this short URL gonna be this one right there. So now if I save this one, and I take this URL right there and I pass it right there, I'm gonna get what I got. Oops, I make a typo. Replace. Sorry. So now if I save, now we got a random string for the URL right there. So you see how easy that was. So we get this because the this right there is the document before it being saved. Nothing else. But now we get a problem. We never seen if this one gonna be unique. So we're gonna just make a validation for be sure this stuff gonna be unique. So we're gonna use the Mongoose right there library with models. Gonna search for URL, who is the name of this one right there. So we just use the URL right here. It's the same of when here we import the URL, but here right inside the Mongoose. I'm gonna use find one. Here I'm gonna find one with a short URL, gonna be equal to this that short URL. That's gonna give me a premises with 2 callbacks. The first one gonna have a URL, and the second one error. If I have an error, I'm gonna just done with the error. Remember, this is a middleware, so we have access of next, and inside the callback we have the done. We can call that like CB or something you want. So this is the callback. Here I'm gonna just do a if URL. What I'm gonna do here, this that short URL equal make unique URL again. So if this one is not unique, I'm gonna do again, and that's gonna give me my unique one. That's it. So now we're gonna watch if everything is working. So I'm gonna pass a new URL, so this one right there. I'm gonna pass this one, and now we get the short version. Nothing more. So right now we are good to go to start working with some kind of front end in the next episode. So I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me on the YouTube, on my YouTube video in the comments. And if you like video, hit likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow the tutorial. Hope you enjoy. Have a good day. Bye.